Hello and welcome back, everybody. Slim Slam and the Bandwagon fan. Week 4 preview show coming your way. I'm Slim. He's slamming to my left. That's the Bandwagon fan. As always, brought to you proudly by the Jersey Cartel on Facebook. Boys, how are we?
I'm great, Blaze, and I'm looking forward to a big week, week 4.
Week 4 is on the way. Schnars, your thoughts, my friend?
Feel like weeks 1 to 3 have flown by.
Isn't
and
it?
Doesn't it?
Week 1 and week 3 were great.
Yep.
Week 2, not so much. Week 4, I'm looking forward to a few good matchups in here.
Yep.
And pretty keen to get into it. But before that, I think we have a new segment.
We are going to debut a new segment.
But before we do that, Blaze,
Well, okay. Yes,
should we
before
just
that.
go over a little bit of controversy in the last episode around who Schnars tipped in a certain Packers-Saints game?
Definitely should.
Would you like to just clear that up for the folks at home?
Well, I was quite adamant at the time about the fact that I had not picked the Saints because I'd outlined the fact that Michael Thomas was out and thus I didn't have much faith in them. I also outlined the fact that's why you picked them. Now, you very stoutly said, well, I definitely did, so one of you two didn't. Now,
I was right.
And I said, I picked him. And Schnars adamantly said he did.
I thought I picked them.
But you were wrong.
I was wrong.
And we'll cop that and move along.
Which
But
is-
just for the record, just noted for the record, I did pick the Packers
Yes, correct.
to beat the Saints that weekend.
And what you
So
should note from that, sports fans, is I'm in front in the tipping.
right, yeah, and that is the big swing point of the whole situation. But hey, enough fluffing
I'm
about.
still unsure.
We've got it on record.
Oh, you're a clown. The new segment is the Elite Eight. It's our own little
Power
twist.
rankings.
It's our own little twist on the power
Taken
rankings.
directly from college basketball.
Correct. It's an absolute rip and swap. But hey, Elite Eight, we're going to take you through the 8th through 1st most powerful teams in
Absolutely.
NFL football right now. There's going to be no real shock to who's number 1, but we are going to start from the bottom
Yeah.
of the 8 and go our way up. So maybe, Chucky, if you want to go first with that one, mate.
Sure.
And
Now,
we'll
what you
go
should
from
note
there.
here as well, sport fans, is most places at least give you a top 10. We're not doing that because there's 8 divisions, and we think you only need 8 good teams. We're giving you 25% of the league. We're giving you the 8 best teams, and quite
Yep.
frankly, you don't need the other 2. So
Fair
they're
enough.
irrelevant.
And cop that. It was nice and
So-
aggressive too.
At 8, and this is a group thing as well. This
Yeah,
is
it's
Slim
just-
Slam and the Bandwagon fan presents the Elite 8.
Yep.
This is a group project. We've done it together. So at 8, we've got the Rams.
My
the
Rams.
LA
Ours is
Rams.
Rams.
So they've come in at 8. Now there's only about... So this puts them as the 3rd best NFC team as well.
Yeah.
So there's a little one for you going ahead.
Yeah, very good.
So we've got them currently as the 3rd best team in the NFC. They've been looking really good. They're 2-1. I
Yep.
think there is one other 2-1 team, but I thought they might have been the only 2-1 team on this
Arguably,
list.
when we get to the rankings a bit further on, we might be able to circle back here.
Yeah.
But could have, based on last week's result, ended up higher than they are.
Absolutely. So the Rams are in with a 1-loss record, but that 1 loss was to a good team, and they had to travel a long way to go to that one. And yeah, they're just playing some pretty good football at the moment. Goss playing pretty well. The little running back they got there is playing pretty well as well.
Darryl Henderson. Yep.
So-
Henderson,
Yeah.
not my man Cam.
Who's going to
Well,
take?
your man Kev.
So no further suspense. Who's going to take Team 7?
Well, I might take 7 and we'll just work our way up and down the table like
Alright.
that, shall we?
Sounds
The
good.
Pittsburgh Steelers, your old man's team.
Yep,
Chucky
Davo,
Charles.
shout out.
Kind of shocking everyone a little bit, I'd say, at the moment with their 3-0
Not me.
record. Big Ben is back. James Conner's running the ball really nicely, and they've got a defense that is really
Stout.
the hallmark of that team. I think in an AFC that features the Chiefs and Ravens probably as the 2 teams to beat. I think they're knocking on the door right there with Buffalo is for the 3rd best team in the AFC.
Yeah.
I think they'd be very happy with how they're tracking at the moment. They've got good young receivers. Obviously, Juju's there. Washington and Alika are coming along nicely. So I think, if you're a Pittsburgh fan like our mate Dave is, just keep riding that wave and hopefully you have some success, if Patrick Mahomes breaks his leg or something. So, yeah.
Please don't say that, Blaze. Good God, what is
I just
wrong
can't
with you?
believe that came out of your mouth.
I cannot
You are a
believe
true
you said
bandwagon
that.
fan.
I don't fear like that kind of.
Well, I do, and I can't believe you said that.
We have many superstitious fans out there,
Good
I don't have
Lord.
issue with superstition. I think it's a bogus thing.
Whatever.
and you've just taken a dragon glass knife and stuck it right through their heart.
Oh, I don't feel good.
At 6,
I'm not worried about it.
Tennessee Titans. So on the back of last week's comment I made around the Tennessee were 9-3 in their last 12 games.
Yep.
They've now moved to 10-3. And quite rightly so, on the back of Derrick Henry rushing the ball. Tannehill's also found a bit of form, which we
Yeah.
didn't
Has.
really see in his Miami days. He, we spoke about in our week 3's review, Goskowski pretty much carried him for
Yes.
the first half.
Yes.
Tannehill still did throw a lot of nice balls, and he's...
And you got to get into field goal range.
Yep, you do. That's a great point. And he's becoming one of those, good game managers with Jimmy Garoppolo and the like, and what Kirk used to be. But
yeah, I
that's
think
a
it's a
story for another
massive
day.
positive if you win a game where you had to kick 6 field goals, and that means your defense did enough as well, and then, they still put up 31 points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'd be happy with how that's going.
Is this being thrown back to me then?
Well, yeah, I guess so. Why not?
Okay, so
We'll figure it out
at
as we go.
5, we have the Buffalo Bills. Now, as we've said, the Buffalo Bills are 3-0. They are flying. They are looking the real deal this year, and Josh Allen looks like he's taken that next step to become more so of an elite quarterback in the Elite 8. Well, there we go.
Yeah.
They're looking great all round.
out.
Singletary looks good at running back. Diggs has made a serious impression on this team. Allen already touched on, and the defense is, it's
Again,
once
much
again,
Defense was great last year.
defense has always been good, but it's still good. So
Much like Pittsburgh, it's the basis of what they want to do, and now their offense is starting to follow suit, and they're turning into a
Absolutely.
really nice football team to watch. They're quite entertaining.
who do we have at 4, Blaze?
We're going to go with the Baltimore Ravens. This might ruffle a few feathers around the place, I would have thought. No good. All right, moving on. I think the Ravens are a very popular team in the NFL right now, but I think there's some question marks starting
Big
to
trust.
really come through in terms of them in big games. Obviously, the playoff cloud. Now they've just coughed up a really disappointing game to the Chiefs, who are their number one competition to get to that Super Bowl. I think those questions just keep coming, and until they get to a place where they can answer them in the postseason, I can't get them above those next 3 teams in that list just yet. I think they're obviously a fantastic football team. Can't take anything away
I
from
think 3 and
them.
4, pick and choose, but
Yeah.
I think the top 2, you couldn't have any arguments
Yeah.
with at this stage.
Speaking of 3 in the 3 and 4 conundrum, Schnazi,
Who have we got?
The cheeseheads.
the cheeseheads, those
The pack.
cheeseheads. Yep.
The Packers, once again, I think this is probably not the best time to unveil this stat because I don't actually remember the stats, but since their new coach has come on board that replaced Mike McCarthy last year, I believe they've only lost, is it 3 games?
Might
Two
be
of those
No, they-
4.
2 of those
they
in the
went
regular
third.
season and 1 in the
They
playoffs
13 and
last year.
3
They-
last year.
13 and 3 last year.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So they haven't lost a lot of games under this new coach, and he's walked right in, and everyone's
Matty
gone Mike
Lafleur.
McCarthy who.
Yeah.
And now the Cowboys fans are finding a lot out about Mike McCarthy. But in saying that, Aaron Rodgers is one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Probably just sits outside that top 5 because maybe the weapons around him aren't as good and make him probably look a little bit worse than he actually really is. So I don't
Seems
think,
to have had a bit of a resurgence this year as well.
yeah, he's got a bit of a chip on his shoulder. I reckon
Yes.
the front office
Aaron
taking
doesn't
love.
take too nicely to being slighted.
Yes, and I think that's probably a good way to put it. I think Jordan Love coming in, getting selected with that
Yes.
first round pick, that's a bit of a message. And I think Aaron's just turning around and saying, well, hang on, mate.
Yeah.
a bit of a slap in the face.
I'm
It's like,
I'm
come on,
not
boys,
done
I'm your man.
yet.
Yeah, I'm
Bit of
just
that.
Back
right
me in.
here. Yep. Hey, I know you've got a bit of time for the Seattle Seahawks, Chuck. They're
Plenty,
coming in.
I do, Blaze, and
Coming in
that's why
second.
they've come in at number 2
Yep.
on the Elite 8. So the Seattle Seahawks are absolutely flying. Russell Wilson, I should say, is looking like the unanimous MVP at the moment. He is by far and away the best player in the NFL through the first 3 weeks of the season.
Yeah.
Stats-wise.
In terms of his output,
He
correct.
is looking absolutely amazing. He's carrying this team. Lockett looks really good at wide receiver. DK Metcalf looks really good at wide receiver, even with that little...
Oh, we didn't touch on that in the
I
review
know,
show.
even with that
Yeah.
little stuff up that he had on the weekend. The defense is the issue here. They are getting gashed for a lot of points.
Yeah.
But at the moment, it's just not mattering because he's putting up that many points on his own. So for those reasons, we've got them at 2. Now, Blaze, who do we have at 1?
That'd be the Kansas City Chiefs. If you're listening along on your commute in and you can't see us, I just indicated my
You just
Kansas
had
City
that dead
Chiefs.
silence.
Yes, correct, which is a staple for us here. The Kansas City Chiefs come in at number 1 based on the fact that they are the best team in football. They've got the best weapons. They've got the greatest quarterback in the world at quarterback. Their defense, as much as it's been maligned in the past, is starting to show that they can really step up to the plate. They've just absolutely stuffed the Ravens' rushing and
true.
passing offense, for that
Everything.
matter. And I think they just keep getting better, strength to strength. They've got the Patriots this week, and I think there's not too much more you can say about them that hasn't already been said. I think it's just a matter of week
That's good.
week by week rolling on and just seeing what they toss up. It's just a highlight. Every week it's a highlight at the moment. You saw some of those passes today. I mean, he's throwing touchdowns to his left tackle. He's throwing touchdowns to his fullback.
Doing
He's just
whatever he likes.
He did a jump pump fake at some
The
stage.
jump pump.
So I
He's
don't
a
know.
genuine magician at the moment.
It's just unbelievable. He's at the top of his powers. And
12 straight wins.
yeah, and it's just looking really nice. So I think anyone that would debate the Kansas City Chiefs are the hottest team and the number 1 team in the Elite 8 is probably...
An idiot.
off their reservation. So I think that's pretty much all you need to say about that. The Cards and 49ers, Schnars, a bit stiff to be let out there.
There's a few teams that are. One team that is not stiff, who is a 3-0 team, is the Bears. The Bears suck.
Yeah.
They were never even.
They were never considered even amongst our top 15 teams.
Yeah, fair enough.
So we've got the Cards and Niners, obviously from the same division here, also with the Rams and the Seahawks.
Yep.
Very unlucky. The Cards, that loss was a big loss. It's a loss they shouldn't have had last
Two
week.
AFC North teams have made it into our Elite 8 as well there.
You are quite right.
Yeah.
Don't worry about what I was...
Yeah, don't interrupt the flow.
Sorry, I was just surprised.
No,
Schnars,
your
come back,
podcast, mate.
Come back around on those 49ers and Cards, mate.
I think the thing with the Niners here, they were definitely a top 8 team
Yeah.
if they didn't have the injuries they had. Probably almost a top 4 team. But, that loss to the Cards probably devalues them slightly. And then the injuries, just based on Jimmy Garoppolo not being playing, their defensive line.
Bosa and Thomas both out. Hurts big time.
It's just hard to really put them up there.
Yeah.
And you've got to give credit to the teams that have good records at the moment too.
Yeah, that have those clean bill of health.
This could all change by next week.
Of course it is. That's going to be a rolling segment for us moving forward.
It's the beauty of it.
Yep. And we're going to be able to get this up in a graphic on our socials and whatnot.
Yes,
I think that might be
that would be really good.
Good little touch.
That will look very
But
nice.
hey, I think we've got some merit there. As we like to do here on Slim Slam of the Bandwagon Fan, we're doing a bit of innovation on the
Keeping
fly.
it fresh like Sam's hair.
Keeping it fresh.
The
like
salad's looking
Slammers.
good week 2.
That's right. The salad is looking toit. To move into the preview for week 4 here, we'll quickly touch on the Broncos and Jets. I don't think we need to spend much more time than we did in the review show on this one. Thursday night football, Jets going into... No, actually, Denver going into MetLife. But I don't think they'll make too much difference, even though Denver are significantly depleted with injury themselves. It's 3 Broncos across the board. I don't think we could find a single F to give about the Jets, for lack of a better term. So I guess that's all it really is to be said for that one.
Yeah, let's go straight into game 2.
Straight into that one. The Lions versus the Saints in a game that, the Lions shocked us all a little bit by beating the Cardinals.
Yes.
If they were to then hold off the visiting Saints this week, I think there'd be some alarm bells going off in New Orleans, that's for sure, with the absence of Michael Thomas.
That'd be 1 and 3.
They'd be 1 and 3, and
yes, huge
some
alarm
real
bells.
concerns about how, almost a Houston DeAndre Hopkins conundrum, where it's like, well, how dependent are you on this one bloke to just get you,
You know what I don't understand with the Saints?
What's that, mate?
Taysom Hill. I just don't understand it. They've put so much money into him.
Yeah.
Had a very costly fumble on the weekend too.
Yeah, you would accept that fumble that he had if it was Drew Brees fumbling, because he's your number 1 guy. Taysom Hill is not your number 1 guy. He plays a few snaps, not a lot of snaps, but that's
It's an interesting
costly mistake. I just don't understand it. And you've got Jameis Winston sitting there too. Obviously, they're trying to create different looks, but you've already got Alvin Kamara on the field as well, who gives you those different looks like Dalvin Cook
just
does.
naturally. Yeah.
I think it's just the dual threat factor there. He could throw it, he might run it. No one really... there's not a lot of that going around. Bit of smoke and mirrors sort of thing. They're just trying to be a bit...
Is it a bit too cute for where they're at the moment?
Yeah, potentially. For
Get the
where they
basics
are
right
now, maybe.
It's all well and good when
One to
you're
watch.
up and flying in the dome in the bubble.
Yeah,
and
all
going.
well and good when you're 10-4 playing at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's a few question marks with New Orleans at the moment. With that said, I do think they'll go into Detroit and get the win. They're a good football team. They're well coached. They've got great personnel in terms of actual talent on the field, albeit without Michael Thomas out there.
Cam Jordan might sack you 7 times.
Exactly. That weak side.
happen.
Just overwhelming it. But I think I can speak for all 3 of us again here and go 3 Saints. I would have thought.
Yes, I'll be taking the Saints. But if they don't win here, Blaze, I'm going to start to become very worried.
Yes, and that's
my
probably
tip
fair
for the
enough.
division.
And you're the same, Schnazi, I would have thought? With
Yeah,
the
you know,
Saints? Yeah.
In
sorry.
line with week 3, I'll be taking the Saints.
Yeah, very good, my friend. Hey, Bucks v Chargers. LA going into Tampa Bay here.
Into Florida.
The Succaneers is really starting to catch on.
I don't think so.
Much to your delight, both of you twos. The Los Angeles Chargers have just lost to the it's
Carolina
Carolina
Panthers.
Panthers, and Justin Herbert is at the helm here. Now he, as far as we know, is still going to be the quarterback for this week.
I
haven't heard
actually-
otherwise.
I don't think you're
yet.
coming back from a punctured lung too quick.
No.
I haven't heard as yet.
He was indefinite
Yeah.
for Tyrod, but
Yeah.
Tyrod is still...
Herbert will start.
Still, yeah.
Tyrod's still the team's preference to be the starting quarterback.
So what we get is the young and the old.
Very true.
So we
Blaze.
get the guy in his 3rd start against a guy that's won more Super Bowl. He's won double that amount in Super Bowls in Tampa, Tom. They've been looking better as the weeks have gone on, as we've kind of expected. They'd get a little bit of momentum going here. I think the LA Chargers are a smoky chance, and as I continue to struggle in the tips, I'm going to try and nab one back here with Joey Bosa and Ingram coming off the edge there.
Yes,
and trying to scare the Christ
It'd be
out
interesting
of
to
him.
see what happens whether the Patriots, knowing that the pressure that they get on the quarterback with the Chargers, I think giving up the least amount of points this year. No, sorry.
The Patriots.
Fourth.
Why are you talking about the Patriots?
or the Bucks, you mean?
Bucks. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
just one of those bandwagon things. Imprinted in my brain and go,
Yeah,
Brady.
You're trying to
Patriots.
you're trying to reprogram yourself. That's okay.
Anyways, the point I was getting at is the Chargers are giving up the fourth least points this year.
Yep.
So that indicates they've got a top 5 defense. I know it's
Yep.
sort of hard to say because they've all played different
played
teams
three
at the
teams,
moment.
yeah.
Yep.
But based on the numbers, their defense is good. And that coming from the pressure they get on the quarterback
Correct.
through Bosa and Ingram.
Yes.
Yep.
No,
So-
you're right. That is an interesting one to watch there. The pressure on Brady on the weekend because he's obviously
So
not,
will we
not the most
see-
nimbler bloke, is
Yeah.
Is it Jones and Fournette
Yes.
getting a lot more
Yes.
carries this week?
Yeah,
trying
running
to reduce the threat of Brady getting a hit from either of those guys. Because once the big
Yes.
bear gets you, he gets you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
100%.
absolutely. You'd know about it.
I mean, Tom Brady is going to be under the pump. I think, by no means am I saying the Chargers will definitely win, but I do think they're more of a chance than both of you would certainly getting.
There's
them
no
up there.
chance. I'll be taking the Bucks.
Fair enough too.
I will likewise with the bandwagon fan. I'll be taking the Bucks.
Very good, very good. Hey, Bengals v Jags in a game that probably will surprise some to be more interesting than maybe we would have thought 3 weeks
You're
ago.
out on your own here again in the tipping blades.
I am out my own here again.
You are really trying to peg them down.
You just got to shoot from the hip sometimes, and sometimes
I
I'll
love it.
land, or otherwise the margin's going to stretch and it might be all over by the end of week 4. Hey, Jacksonville are going in and taking on the Cincinnati Bengals.
Bengals.
Bengals. It's catching on.
It's not.
Minshew Mania versus Joe Burrow, the king of LSU. There's
Oh, speaking of LSU, not a good game on the weekend.
Not a good game.
little parallel there with the college football scene. Coughing up a
They had a
fair,
bad day.
serious amount of points. in
All those
Mississippi State.
bandwagon fans like myself would have quickly unfollowed them on
You
all
would have gone
socials.
straight back across to Clemson and Trevor, wouldn't you?
Up.
Or you never got
Never
off
left,
them, to be
to be
fair.
honest.
Yeah, it's just sidestep.
No, this is an interesting game for mine. At the start of the year, I had the Jags not winning a game. They've obviously won one.
Yes.
But this was one of the few games I had the Bengals winning. And I'm liking, the more and more I see Smokey Joe, as Blaze likes to call him, play,
Yep.
the more and more I am liking the
Clean
Bengals.
cut, Smoky Joe.
So I will be taking the Bengals at home to get their first win.
Yep.
I'll be taking the Cincinnati Bengals to be having their first
You got
win.
3 teams playing this weekend.
It's heavy.
You got the Jags, the Bengals, and the Bengals.
Absolutely heavy.
I'm done with that.
You got done with that. I'm taking the
Him. I'm done with him.
I'm taking the Jacksonville Jaguars because I think Minshew Mania is just. I mean, they faltered and stop-started a little bit against the Dolphins.
It's really, it's two
That'd be okay.
polar opposite quarterbacks here, isn't it? It's clean cut, clean
Yes.
shaven Joe against party boy Minshew.
Yes.
It feels like it's the king of the frat house versus the guy with
King
the
of
highest,
tailgating.
the highest
Yeah.
with the
Yeah.
highest GPA.
Yeah.
Versus the King of Harvard.
I know whose team.
Yeah.
I know whose team I want to be on off the field. That's for sure. Texans v.
Which is why I'll be taking the Bengals on the field.
Yes, it's very good. Very good. Hey, Texans v. Whoa, got the wobbles there. Texans v. Vikings in what is Tom Schnaz's
Game of the week.
game.
Not to be mistaken for Scott.
Scott
So
Schnaz, indeed.
Well, I actually haven't chosen a team for this one, which is quite surprising.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
good. Maybe you could pick one now since we're on the waves.
Yeah, well, since we're live.
I will be taking the Texans.
Right, okay.
The
Home team.
home
Sure.
team is primarily why I'll be taking him, and because my boy Kirk has torched me 3 times this year.
Yeah.
So
Real
Kirk,
battle of the losers here.
Yes, it is.
and 0-4 for one of these teams who both teams
Massive
were
storyline.
around the mark last year.
Absolutely.
Massive
Were they
storyline.
both playoff teams last year, or did the Vikings not get there? I can't remember.
Oh, it's dead
No,
silence.
they made it because they beat New Orleans because Kirk
Yes,
had
yeah.
his moment in the
Yeah.
spotlight
So
and he
two-
won, and he hasn't
two-
been the same since.
No, 2 playoff teams from last year, and one of them is going to be 0-4.
Yeah.
And even
At which point you pretty much put a line through them. I don't think there's
Absolutely.
much hope from that point. Working your way
Absolutely.
back.
Vikings could literally be 3-0 if they lost that game to New Orleans last year.
Mm.
Kirk hasn't been the same. Shout out Kirk. If you're listening,
is-
I'm still there.
He's coming
That
back
is
for you,
a
big guy.
puzzling sentence that he's just put together there. Sports
If you
fans.
can make sense of it, you'll
Good
understand
luck
it.
navigating
Yeah,
that one. Hey,
not too many people
I'm
do.
out here on the Vikings. Slammer, what are you going to go with here? You're gonna
I'm
get
on the
with-
Texans here, mate. I can't see Deshaun going 0-4, and I
Yeah.
feel like they just have to win this. And yeah, for the reason that they're at home, I think that really helps them. And you'd really hope that David Johnson can get something going at running back because after week
More than
1,
20
he's
yards?
pretty much non-existent.
Yeah,
so
you really would.
You'd love to see something there from him.
I'd love to see more out of Justin Jefferson. He looked pretty good last week as a young
Had a nice
man.
little dance.
Nice little dance on his way into the end zone, and I need him to have a good game because I'm out on a limb here again with the Minnesota Vikings. So that's 3 in a row here where I'm
He's got
just
some
going.
big shoes to fill in
Going
Diggs'
to-
shoes.
Tell you what,
100%.
Blaze.
Massive.
If you lose all 3 of them,
It could be curtains.
we might just stop taking your tips.
It could be curtains.
Much like the
fair
best
enough.
bet. The fans don't want to hear it.
A lot of my segments and tips are going to be on ice soon, aren't they? These completely not.
This is why we've got our own Gmail.
Yeah. I really hope that's a joke. Hey, Dolphins v Seahawks in a game that won't get much argument here, I don't think. Dolphins are showing a little, but they're not up to scratch when it comes to the Seattle Seahawks.
I hope they get pumped so we get 2 a time.
Yeah, well,
That's what I want too.
two a time would be nice. I think that franchise, it's just with Fitzmagic at the helm, they've had a little bit of a nice week. They had an early game. They knocked
2-1, aren't they?
knocked off the Jags. Yes, they are. But I think 2 a time will just brighten everyone's spirits. And I think much like what Herbert's happening in.
I don't know. I watched the replay of the Dolphins game last week against the Jags, albeit the Jags aren't that great. The players actually look like they like playing
Yeah, true.
with Fitzmagic.
Fitz, yeah.
They don't look like
He's always been a bit of a cult hero wherever
Yeah.
he goes,
Yeah.
hasn't he?
he must be good. Like must be a good
Must
fellow
be a
in the
good
locker
bloke.
room. And
Yeah.
like they look like they're out there. They don't look like they're just like they don't. It doesn't look like he's the gatekeeper.
Yeah.
And they're just waiting for
No.
the young guy to step in. They're going,
No, they
we
don't
want to play
look
the young
disheartened.
guy.
out
They're
there, do
happy.
they?
They're happy, I
Yeah.
think, is the main
So
word, isn't it?
it's an interesting one. So, you know, if this ends up being another close game, Fitzmagic, Fitzpatrick might buy himself a few more weeks.
Yeah.
But as
It's interesting here. It's another really long road trip for the Seahawks as well, all the way down to Miami from the very top of Seattle. That's a very, very long road
Back
trip.
to American geography with Slammer.
I love it. And it's
You're-
got good merit.
You might be the only one.
based
but-
on that, Slammer.
So we're all going Seahawks for that
Yes.
one, I would have thought.
Yes.
But that does lead into Slammer's guarantee for the week.
Oh, okay. Now, we
Yeah.
had a loss last week, Slam.
We did, Blaze, but we lost the first week. We won the second week. We just lost again. So I'm due a win.
Yeah. Or we're 33%.
Take from that what you will.
Depending on which
So,
way you look at it.
I'm a little bit upset now that I did this because of how long that road trip is, and you know how I love that geography side of it.
Yes.
But so for the best bet, for Slammer's guarantee this week, we'll start it off with the Seahawks going into Miami and getting a dub.
Yep.
Now we will then follow that up with the Cardinals, and the Cardinals are playing. If I could just find it
Panthers.
on the board, they're playing the Panthers, also in Carolina.
Yes.
I'm picking a couple of away teams here, which is ballsy of me. But anywho, so add them into that multi, and then we'll be picking the Packers.
A home team.
Yes,
Oh,
the
thank
home team
God.
on Monday Night Football, playing the Atlanta Falcons. So basically, I'm just hoping that Atlanta go in front.
At least 20 up in the fourth.
Yeah, 20 up, fourth quarter, 6 minutes to go, and
know
the
what
Packers
we need
should
to
be able to
start-
run that down.
We need to start advising the fans out there. Anytime Atlanta are leading in the game, get
Bet
up,
heavy
live
off- yeah,
bet,
Yeah.
get on the
Bring up
opposition.
sports
Yeah.
bet and
And
deposit
clean
your life
house.
savings.
Clean house.
Yeah. So if you add all 3 of those teams together, Blaze, you'll
Yes.
get $2.61.
And what if you wanted to
Power player?
power play it?
You'd get $2.76. Now,
Very
we're going to
good.
put 50 on because that's what we do every week.
Yep.
And that's going to net me a return of $138.
Yep.
And, you only have to spend 34 of your own dollars this week because we still had that $16 and change left over. So
you're
that's always good.
That's good from you. You just cling on to the little crumb of
You got to take what you can
profit
get.
you've got.
Crumb
remaining
of
there.
profit.
Yes.
But I will be up to,
on.
$154. $154 by the end of this week. So that'll be good.
That would be good. We want to see your pocket.
A little hot piece for you here, Blaze.
A hot
On
piece?
Sunday, I'm gonna go through the stats and stuff.
Yeah.
And 'cause
And
you
stuff.
you get way
What?
more markets and that on sports bet way closer to the game, so it's very hard to do my guarantee. So I'm gonna go through, pick out a couple of lines that I really like, and I'm gonna give you a second Slammers guarantee.
He's gonna
on
post it on the
Sunday. I'm
socials?
gonna post it on the socials,
Very
Facebook
nice.
and YouTube. I'm gonna post it on Sunday Arvo.
Good touch.
What
from
about
you.
the Instagrams and TikTokers?
Well, they'll get it too.
They'll get it too. All right, we'll get it on all the socials. So as we do, make sure you follow and
So
subscribe
from now on,
and
you're
like
going
and
to
all the
get
rest
2
of it.
Slammers guarantees a week.
That's massive from you.
I
That's
reckon
a real commitment.
we put it on the story. So you've got to really pay attention to it.
Okay.
We're not gonna give you 25 hours to go find it.
No.
You've got 24 hours.
Yeah.
Probably not even that because it'll be Sunday Arvo when I'd get around to it.
Yeah. So we might even tighten the window.
Depending on how many beers he has the night before.
Rambling. Hey, another good little segment there from you, Chucky.
Thanks, mate.
I look forward to seeing you wear either the crown or the clown
Hopefully
hat.
the crown, Blaze.
Yes. I mean, we have conveniently cut that clown hat to fit a bit nicer these days, but
It does do the job.
I wouldn't even want to try to see it fit on my head.
fair enough too. Hey, let's move along here. The Titans v Steelers in what will be my game of the week.
Ooh.
Couple of little storylines going on here as we like to touch on. Both teams 3-0.
Yes.
Both teams have pretty nice defenses. The Steelers probably take the edge in that one, I would have thought.
Both teams have nice running backs.
Both teams have really nice running backs. Now, Big Ben and Ryan Tannehill, both question marks somewhat on, Big Ben coming back, if he's, back to his best, or if Ryan Tannehill is up to scratch.
Yes.
So it's really hard to say exactly who's going to win this game. The Steelers are going into Tennessee for this one. Like I mentioned, 3-0, both teams. AFC kind of in the workings of a really nice finish there as the third or fourth best team in that
Well, they
conference.
were 6 and 7 in the Elite Eight, Blaze.
Correct. So it's a lot to be seen here. A lot of
The winner will probably stay, and the loser will probably get kicked out of that Elite Eight.
Exactly.
And that's what all the teams are playing for this year.
So it's an even bigger game in the
Yeah.
respect of that. Someone will be very upset to get kicked out of that Elite
Well, the
Eight.
Elite
Super Bowl no more.
I was going to say, yep, the Elite Eight has actually taken over as the prize,
Yeah.
podium to
Yeah.
achieve in,
You don't want to win
in
the
NFL
Super Bowl.
football.
You want to be a part of the Elite Eight.
I'm
It's
going
like the Champions League. You want to win that. You don't want to win the Premier League.
exactly.
So true.
It's a stepping stone. Hey, Titans for mine. I
Yep.
think Titans at home. Derrick Henry, James Conner is a great running back, but I think when you've got Derrick Henry, like you mentioned, Sam, won every game he runs over 20.
When he has 25 rush attempts, they
25
win.
rush attempts, they win. I think
That one will be interesting here, Blaze, because of how good the Steelers' run defense is, and just their defense in general is. So that'll be a really interesting one. Will they be able to run the ball 25
I think
times?
it's just going to be a good spectacle.
Big Ben's looking like the comeback player of the year at the moment.
A little bit, yeah.
So
for sure.
this one's really interesting. A real 50-50 flip for mine.
Yep.
I will join you, though, Blaze. I'll be taking Tennessee at home against the Steelers.
Very good. Schnazi?
I'm going to take the Steelers here.
Right.
Not just to be different,
Black and
but
gold.
I was pretty hot on the Steelers at the start of the season in all the previews for the season. Was less hot on the Titans. And I think after the Titans game on the weekend, yes, they won. They beat the Vikings, who have struggled to start the year.
Yep.
They relied a lot on kicking field goals. And their offense looked, reasonable. But I think the Steelers are just in a bit better form. James Conner's going well. Juju Smith-Schuster's going well. I'm really liking the Steelers to come out here and say, hey, we haven't beat a team that hasn't won a game yet,
Yep.
but we're going to come out here and beat a 3-0 team and
Yep.
really try to work their way up the Elite Eight because that's what we know everyone wants.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
We've really set the standard there. I like that. It's certainly one to watch. Obviously, it's one to watch. It's my game of the week.
Absolutely.
But hey, Cowboys v Browns in what is your
My game of the week. I know. This game of the week's flying left, right, and
Isn't
centre.
it just? So
aren't
maybe, Slammy, you
This
can take
time
us through.
slot on the Monday morning.
Yes,
whew,
under the
1
pump.
o'clock game. So you'll have to get up early if you want to see any of these.
Under
But
the
yeah,
pump.
this one looks like a good one, I would have thought. So
Yep.
the Cowboys' defense, as we know, hasn't looked amazing so far, has it? And, the Browns have got that serious rushing tandem back there in Chubb and Hunt. That'll be really interesting what they have to do. But the Cowboys' offense for mine, and the reason that I'll be picking the Cowboys, is they are just loaded at wide receiver. They are looking so good. They've got Gallup, who's looking like a gun. They've got Amari Cooper looking like a gun. CD Lamb looks like he's played in the NFL for 5 years.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
And they even who was that?
They've
fella
got
they had?
players coming out of the woodwork
Who
to
was the
just
player
catch
they
the
had on
ball.
the weekend that had over 100 yards?
Was it Wilson?
I think it was Wilson or
Something like that. I can't
I've got it
remember.
written
but
down
he
somewhere.
had over
but I can't
100
find
yards,
it.
and I barely knew who he was. And I was just like, this is like they are, and not to mention the running back.
Yeah.
For the Cowboys, so
He's
this
Zeke
is
boy.
a very interesting game for mine. But
Cedric Wilson.
Cedric Wilson. There you go.
Shut
But due
up.
to it being in Dallas and just, I don't know how good the Browns defense is. I mean, Washington looked okay on the weekend against the Browns defense until Dwayne started throwing some picks. So for mine, I'll be taking the Cowboys.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm also on the Cowboys this week. I think Dak Prescott got a personal best for yardage last week against Seattle,
about
I believe.
475
He had to throw a lot though. Of
course he did.
Overinflated.
Of course he did. It was overinflated, but I still like it. I think he's showing a little bit. I'm flip-flopping a little around Dak at the moment. I'm not sure where he's kind of
Yes,
at.
as
but
am I.
yeah, it's
Probably
just
above
kind of
Carson.
it's a watch this space week to week, but I can't wait for that good call, bad call when it does roll around, Schnazi. That'll be a good one.
For mine, I'm tipping the Browns.
Yep.
And I am tipping this based on how I thought the Brown season was going to go.
Yeah.
I think this is almost a make or break game for their season. I'm calling it early because if they can get to 3-1, knock off a team that's. I wouldn't say the Cowboys are a great team this year. We know their defense is well below par.
Yep.
But the Browns, I see them. They should be beating the Cowboys.
Yep.
If the game was in Ohio, I'd be taking the Browns without second guessing it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to take the Browns here, hoping that, as we've touched on before, the dual-headed python at running back catches fire. They don't let Baker throw the ball as much, and they just run the ball into this average Cowboys defense.
Yep.
Cowboys, I think it'll be interesting to see how they go. If the Browns can get out in front and force the Cowboys to throw, maybe someone like Denzel Ward can get involved and have a few match-winning plays, or a game-changing play that could really bolster the Browns' chance of winning a game. So I'll take the Browns.
I think it's a very open kind of contest, and obviously your game of the week, Chuck, probably for that reason. It's very hard to say exactly which way it'll go. I think the Cowboys, in Jerry Jones's palace that he's built there, will probably be a bit too strong.
Should have lost to Atlanta. That's what's probably sticking in my mind too.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
This is very good point. I'll be taking the Cowboys. Chucky's on the Cowboys, and Schnazi will be taking the Browns. Hey, Panthers, Cardinals in one we don't have to waste too much time on here. Cardinals, well, actually, maybe we do, because the Cardinals lost to Detroit last week in a game that we probably rid off completely as no hope for them. So, again, Panthers coming off a win. Yes. And the first win they've had in, 13 outings
11
or something
games.
11. And against an Arizona Cardinals team that will be disappointed. I think they will be smiting for a bit of payback here.
I don't think they'd be too impressed with how they ended that last game, Blaze. No,
I think Carolina might be wrong team, wrong place, wrong time. Here, I think
at home.
Yeah,
just waiting for it.
The squad of men rolling up.
Little Kyler's rolling up with his squad of men.
Little Kyler, 5'11".
Little Kyler.
I think Kyler.
He was a rapper, but Lil Kai.
I don't want to rap.
I think you've mentioned wrong place, wrong time here.
Yeah.
The Cardinals, they can't afford to lose games like they did last week.
Yeah.
Their division is loaded. You can't just be throwing away games when you're in the same division as the Rams, the Niners, and the Seahawks. Yes. They need to come here. They need to make a statement. They need to build their confidence again and say, hey, we've got to buy the hype that we were just getting after week 2.
Yep.
So I think that's probably along the lines of why all three of us, I imagine, will be taking the Cards this week.
You would be correct with that one, my friend. I think the Arizona Cardinals will be too good. I think Kyler Murray, you'll probably see throw for at least a couple, and I think the way he would be disappointed with those interceptions, he would just be out there looking for blood.
Yes. I think he'd be upset with his performance, no doubt, Blaze, and I think he'll be looking to bounce back.
He's only a young man, and he's going to learn. He's learning, and he's learning very quickly. He looks fantastic for his age, and the resume he's already building is fantastic.
There'll be too much for the Panthers.
I think so.
Now, Blaze, we're going to undefeated Chicago.
We're going into Chicago land. We've had 3 bear raves already.
Oh God!
We touched on it last week.
They've been out of Dom Perignon
they didn't stock for this kind of eventuation. Now you've got Nick Foles.
The front office is scrambling.
Now you've got Nick Foles at the helm.
They spent all their Rave Cove money on a trip to Tahiti. Now what are they going to do?
I don't know. I don't know. With that said, the Indianapolis Colts will be coming into Chicagoland.
I know. And it's not a good enough team for me to guarantee that the Bears won't be 4-0.
I know, and that's why
concerned.
I'm actually picking the Bears, and the Bears to be 4-0 will make me utterly sick. But I can't ignore the fact that it's in Chicago, and I don't like the Colts that much.
I had the Bears 4-12 on the year.
Yeah.
Now, if they win this one,
it's gonna be 12 losses in a row.
They better lose 12 in a row.
Just getting red hot.
Or I'll be pretty upset.
That window's closing quick, isn't it?
They suck. How are they 3-0?
It's bizarre. But Nick Foles is at the helm now, and I'd like to see what they get out of him.
They haven't played Detroit yet.
If the Bears could guarantee me this, if they could roll out Trubisky in the first quarter and a half and then bring in Foles, I would tip the Bears. Because Foles coming in off the bench, great quarterback. Yeah. Trubisky,
just not a good quarterback.
So, but Foles started in Jacksonville last year, although we know that Jacksonville don't have a lot of talent. Didn't have a great season there, which has me a little bit skeptical.
Nick did start a Super Bowl not that long ago too.
Yeah, now look where the Eagles are.
Yeah.
So maybe he was the linchpin.
Yeah, so true.
I don't reckon that was his decision to leave either.
No.
But I'm going to take the Colts.
Yep.
I can't bring myself to physically tip or comprehend the fact that the Bears could be a 4-0 team.
Yes, no. For that exact reason, Schnars, I'll be joining you in tipping the Colts because if the Bears go 4-0, I don't know what I'll do.
You might have to quit.
If they go 4-0, they're going to at least be a 500 team through to week 8.
I'll go outside and bite the pavement. You be out in there in a minute.
Jesus, that's dark. It's a bit of American History X pop culture reference for you. Don't look it up if you've got a weak stomach. The Washington football team get to welcome in the Baltimore Ravens here, and I don't think we need to spend too much time here. Dwayne Haskins on the back of 3 disgusting picks and a strip sack
Disgusting, Dwayne.
at a strip sack at the end of the game.
You're on notice.
Gets to come up against Baltimore, who will be smiting much like the Cardinals will be. They got their backsides handed to them by the Kansas City Chiefs, and I think
that they did, Blaze.
I think the Washington football team are in the wrong place, wrong time again here, and they will just get absolutely smoked here. I don't think.
A bit of a trend going on here. If you're at home, you might be in the wrong place at the wrong time.
There might be a certain squad of men on their way.
Yes, indeed.
And this one is probably more of a squad of men.
Given
the running back situation they've got there.
This is a squad of bad men. Mark Ingram with the blacked out visor and the gold mouth guard is just looking at it dangerous. Obviously, big trust. Lamar Jackson will be trying to establish himself back in that MVP conversation.
He might like to throw for more than 97 yards this week, Blaze.
He might want to consider something.
I wonder what the line will come out when they bring it out like this week. If it's anything around that 220, 230-ish range, that's probably unders for mine because he is going to go off. Given that we're not expecting at this stage Chase Young to play either.
We're not at this stage. And that line is a very strong line. We've mentioned it a couple of times in passing, the Washington D line, that is.
Yes.
So they might be a shout to kind of shut down that running game and maybe give them a shot at forcing the pass again. But I think the Baltimore Ravens are just too much here and they'll get it done quite easy.
Yes, I agree with that too, Blaze. Now we're into Rams-Giants. And have you got something for us here, Blaze?
I do, my friend. It is the much maligned best bet segment. We've had interruptions. We've failed to actually nail one yet. And that's not a great little statement to get us going here. But hey, I think...
Would you like to throw one out on a Sunday Arvo too?
Yeah, maybe I might have to start trying to delve into a bit more value.
I don't think the fans are asking for that.
No, not just yet. Maybe we need to win. And that's what we're going to try and get here because the Rams get to host the New York Giants, the hapless Giants, who absolutely suck. Danny Fumbles and the boys are coming.
I like this one of yours.
Coming into SoFi.
This might be your best one.
I think so too, my friend. Thank you for that. Really pumps up my tyres. So
you've really gone out. You've gone a different direction with it too.
Well, I'm sick of these head-to-head matchups.
Yes.
Not getting
You're trying to pick roughies. It's hard.
It is hard. Thank you, Sam.
I just don't think you've been doing enough research.
That might be also true. Rams, -7.5 in the first half. So the handicap there at 7.5. That's a bit over a touchdown.
Correct.
For the first half there. You're going to then multi that into your second half handicap for the Rams at 6.5, which is just...
-6.5.
-6.5, which is just under a touchdown. So all up, you match that together, you're about 30.5 on the day, and you'll come out in front $3.75 to the dollar. Which is a really...
It's 14 on the day.
14 on the day, whatever. Is a very tasty little treat there for what should be an absolute whitewash. I would have thought the Rams are way too strong for that team. That team sucks.
The Giants have no talent. Giants, at the moment, they have no talent on defense. They have no talent in the backfield. So I'm 100% endorsing this one.
Yeah, I love this one. I love this one. And should be noted here, Blaze. The Rams are at home.
Yes, it is in SoFi. And I think the Rams...
If I get back into a bit of geography, that is a very long trip from New York to LA.
Very good, my friend. Hey, that's all that needs to be said on the best bet this week. I think you just want to get on the Rams. You got the first half, the second half split there.
I might get on it tonight, Blaze.
Very good, my friend.
I'm loving that.
Thank you. And I appreciate that. Back home, if you like it too, make sure you let me know because I'm really out on a limb here with the best bet segment and we might cut it soon if we don't get a win.
Yeah, might have to bring in Schnaz's top tips.
Something like that. Schnaz, do you want to take the Chiefs, Pats?
Well, hang on. No one really gave their tips there, but I think it speaks for itself.
Inherently,
we'll be taking the Rams.
Yes, the Rams across the board. I don't think anything needs to be said.
No.
Hold on a minute here. Am I looking at this?
Probably not.
Probably incorrectly. Someone's had a mare with the green marker on the whiteboard. So we've got the Chiefs versus the Pats next week, and I've just looked at here, and I think the game after is the Raiders and the Bills.
Yes.
And someone sort of indicated more in line with the Pats rather than the Chiefs. Anyways, off topic, rambling.
It's more to do with your eyes. It's not that hard to work out.
He's pretty much across the bottom of the S
He's
out.
got the team every time.
No, he started on the side.
Let's not get caught up in the.
Let's not get caught up in the finer details.
Yeah.
Chiefs versus Pats, going to be a great game in my opinion because the Chiefs are playing.
Yes.
Anytime the Chiefs play, it's a great game. It's a
great.
spectacle.
And you get to see Cam Newton here, and I think watching him go up against Patty Mahomes will just be a nice little side story there. I think Kansas City will be far too strong, don't get me wrong, but the Patriots have surprised a lot of people this year so far.
Absolutely,
I don't think they will here by any means, but I think they will, just be enough in this to be worth a watch.
Yeah, Chiefs going back home, playing their second game at home for the year. They'll have a few fans because obviously, as we know, the Chiefs are letting in a few fans this year, which is nice.
Yep.
But yeah, you'd have to expect that the Chiefs' offense is just going to be too much
Paddy
for the
really
Pats
clicked into gear on Monday Night Football against the Ravens.
Primetime Pat came out.
Really looked quite impressive. So
no lulls at all there for Pat either. Didn't really have an off quarter at all.
What was he on third downs? Was he like 11 or 13?
10 of 13.
Yeah,
10 of 13 with like 2 touchdowns on third down.
Against the Ravens, whose defense is meant to be up there.
Yeah, he balled out. It was insane.
My one to watch this game is just seeing what playbook the Pats roll out. They've sort of chopped and changed between whether they're going to let Cam throw or whether it's going to be all-out rush.
You have to think this will be all-out rush. Because if there is a weakness to the Chiefs, it's the run defense.
Which they stifled against the Ravens purely because they got out in front early. Because if you get out in front early, you can't rely on your run game because obviously it chews more clock. So if the Chiefs get out early here, if they get up, 2 touchdowns or, a score and a half, they're going to have to give Cam the ball to throw.
Yep.
And I don't know whether they can rely on Cam and Edelman to draw them over the line.
Yeah.
But if they can get out in front early here, the Pats, which I don't expect, but if they can, the Pats might be able to run the ball and just keep running the rock, and it could be okay for them.
But they're most definitely under the pump.
The Chiefs, unanimous pick, I would assume. Yeah.
I would definitely agree with you there, Schnazzy boy. The Chiefs probably anything from -9.5 up to 2 tubs, I would have thought.
Oh, yeah. Something around that.
Slammer, though, he doesn't bet on the Chiefs.
No, don't touch it.
He doesn't
don't touch it. Don't look at it. Nothing.
He's a very superstitious man, Chucky boy. Raiders v Bills. The hot Buffalo Bills are moving into Las Vegas Stadium for the day.
Going into the Death Star.
The red hot Bills.
Hot Bills.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just liked it.
Okay. Thanks. The Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen is starting to emerge as a real premium talent in the quarterback scene, and I think he's added Stephon Diggs in there. Obviously, Singletary is moving along just nicely, and I think that'll be too much for the Raiders, who kind of crashed back to reality after beating the Saints, but we're not too sure about the Saints anymore, so maybe they are just that middle-of-the-road team we kind of expected from Las Vegas.
I think come week 6 or 7, we should really have a good take on where the Raiders are actually at as a football team.
It's always really hard to work out where teams are at after they've only played 3 games. They've all played so many different
But what I am
teams.
liking from them, though, is every time we talk Raiders, we talk Josh Jacobs.
Yeah,
absolutely.
He's an absolute stud at running back. Derek Carr looks to be in that more 2018 sort of form when he's throwing the ball to Amari. Hopefully they get back Ruggs this week. I'm not too sure what his injury was on the weekend, but
I think it was his hamstring.
Yeah, maybe not a good one then if you rely on your pace to get back out there pretty quickly.
Yes. That's very good of you, Dr. Schnaz.
It does make it hard when you're super speedy.
I was a physio in my prior life. Anyways, the Bills, shout out Bear. Bills should be a consensus pick here.
Yeah.
Based on what the win against the Rams, they are number 5 in the Elite 8. Obviously looking to climb if one of the teams above stumbles.
Yep. And probably every chance to with the Packers and Ravens. But I wouldn't have thought the Ravens would lose to Washington. But
thanks.
Yep, good point. Good point there, Blaze. But, if the Bills blow out the Raiders, say 40-7 or something, we might have to look at giving them a little nudge up in that Elite 8.
We might have to.
Who knows?
That's a good way to look at it.
Love to see it.
Slam, who are you taking?
I'll be taking the Bills, mate. I'm taking them every game this year, and I'll be sticking with that here too.
Likewise, the
My
Bills.
tip for the AFC East.
Likewise, the Bills for me, Schnazzy.
Loves it.
Too good.
Sunday night football, Blaze.
Sunday night football, we get the 49ers, hopefully with a couple of players back this week.
Probably won't matter.
The second stringers came in and beat the Giants, but like
There are
Sam...
long-term injuries at the Niners, aren't they, though?
Well, not all of them.
Predominantly, most of the...
Sherman not too far away, I don't
Sherman's
think.
not far
Garoppolo's
away.
wasn't too bad.
Garoppolo's not far
Most
away.
of the didn't end up being as bad as first thought.
Debo Samuel's not far away, so when you look at it, it's only Solomon Thomas.
And when you look at who they're playing, once again, it should not matter too much. Sorry, Jersey Cartel.
Jersey Cartel tell our fine sponsor has the Philadelphia Eagles as his team.
That he does.
The poor man is struggling through a very, very slow start.
His
to the
soul
year.
hurts, Blaze.
His soul might hurt. And
have you sort of sensed from him that he's more on the Texas bandwagon now?
100%.
He's big Longhorn at the moment.
He's relocating.
I'm not
He's
even
throwing
sure.
him up.
I'm not even sure he's watching the NFL at this point.
Yeah, and it'd be very tough if you were a Philadelphia Eagles fan.
Yes, it's very easy to get up at 3:00 in the morning, Blaze, to watch the Chiefs play.
Yeah.
It would not be that if you were getting up to watch the Eagles.
Agreed. But, you don't want to be a fair weather
for
supporter.
Trevor?
Well,
No.
They
We haven't won a game yet.
Wouldn't be moving on from Wentz just yet, I wouldn't have thought.
I don't know. He's chasing
Maybe
crab
they-
legs.
Maybe they'd like
Chasing
maybe
crab
they'd like a
legs.
package deal with a few picks and that to get some help around him because that is what he needs. They do
Yes.
not have any help for
Yes.
him around wide receiver.
The poor bloke is just out on an island out there at the moment. And he's, like I think you mentioned, Shards, a couple of episodes back, he's trying to recapture that MVP kind of form where it's just, I can do it
It's a bit of
all.
hero ball.
Hero ball, and it's
I
just
think
not
him
working
and
out.
Darnold, between the two of them, have got the two worst jobs at the moment. They're
Yeah.
trying to do something with, and I think they're both, they're serviceable quarterbacks. I think Wentz is obviously a little bit further advanced than Darnold, but they're both trying to do stuff with
The
bloody
difference
deck
is,
chairs
though-
at wide receiver. Like,
Wentz has actually showed something, though.
yeah.
Wentz had that MVP caliber year.
Dude, Darnold had a throw on the weekend where he was running to his left, through with his
Oh, yeah, I
right
saw
arm
that.
across his body. Like, if Mahomes had done it, people would have lost their mind.
Yeah.
But he did it in a game that they were already getting thrashed in. So
But
nobody
then
really
Darnold
cared.
followed that up with an interception.
Oh, of course he would
Yeah.
have. But like, still, like he does have potential,
Yeah.
as does Wentz. But they're just really not playing with a lot of help around them.
No, they're
So,
not. And with that said, I think the 49ers, despite those injuries,
Yes,
will
we'll
get
all
the
be.
job done
Yeah,
on
we'd
Sunday
surely
night.
all be taking
I think,
the
like,
Niners here at home
with the
as
help,
well.
they didn't have Garoppolo on the weekend, and that made no difference
No
whatsoever.
help.
No,
Yeah.
no.
So I don't see it being a problem
Mullins
here
looked
either.
alright.
No, he looked great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't fault him, but then you could fault him because he's playing the Giants.
Yes,
You
absolutely.
can't really buy a lot
Yes.
into it.
Yeah, you can't. I think we'll see all we need to out of the Niners against the Eagles. I think they'll get the job done relatively easy there.
Absolutely.
I wouldn't be shocked if maybe Wentz comes out and shows us a bit, but like you mentioned quite rightly, Sam,
You'd be bloody shocked if they won.
there's just a bit too much. Well, it's a bit too less everywhere else. That wasn't a great sentence.
Bit too little everywhere else.
Yeah,
Not
something
much
like
everywhere
that.
else. Who knows?
Hey, let's steer out of that one and
Let's
go
get
into
straight into Monday night.
Monday Night Football. We
Forming
get,
part of your guarantee slam.
indeed, the Packers.
does.
The Packers get to host the Falcons, the hapless Falcons, who continue to muff up the unmuffable.
Do you reckon they listened to us during the week and gone, hey,
100%.
let's go into the third down a score?
Yeah.
They must
100%.
The
do.
boys will
Have to.
rally.
Because there is no way that is actually happening, like, incidentally, coincidentally, whatever you want to call it. That has to be fabricated. That has to be doctored. Because it doesn't
And
happen.
then if they do
Those things
that,
don't happen.
if they do that, maybe the Packers will start to get worried, and then they won't try to score. So then we'll go into the last quarter, and
It'll be a
nobody
stalemate.
will. Nobody will.
It'll be
have scored.
0-0 going into the
Yeah.
third.
And then we'll
No
see,
one wants to score, and
And
then
then they'll
Aaron
just
Rodgers will
explode.
lead him down the...
Then we'll see Jordan Love throw on between his legs down to Aaron
Oh,
Jones.
jeez, we've really gone down a rabbit hole here, haven't we?
Work that one out, sports fans.
It's hard one.
Regardless, Falcons, they have a ability to continue to
I thought
collapse.
he was saying that was his pick.
yes, so.
Cool.
Just like
Gee,
to leave
that's
it a little bit of
ballsy.
suspense.
Yeah, you did well.
Yeah.
You did
Yeah.
well.
Falcons.
We'll be losing.
We'll be losing.
I'll be
yeah.
taking the Packers. You can't bet against Aaron and what they've done.
No,
Not at the
And
moment.
The one thing that's been consistent in a COVID-riddled season is the Falcons' ability to lose,
Yeah.
and they are going to lose here
Yep.
Yes.
comfortably.
I think you're
Yes.
completely right there, Schnazi boy. The Packers will be too good. With my favourite 3 and 4 receivers in the league at the moment, Valdez-Scantling and Alan Lazard. As
So who's
opposed,
the two?
don't know,
Who's the
Okay.
one?
Devontae.
Devontae Adams.
Just testing you.
Yeah, you've done well. I'm not sure on the 2. If I have to elevate him to 2 and
I think
3,
Lazard's the two.
Yeah.
he probably jumped to the 2 after his performance on the weekend, which was fantastic.
Mm.
Yeah, so 3 Packers across the board here, and a really good showing for them there on Monday Night Football against an Atlanta Falcons outfit that probably just needs to reassess
Grow a
themselves.
sack.
Sack. Cop that from the chief. The big chief to my right. He's just letting them know early. Hey, that might just about do us. Week 4 in the books for the preview show variety there. The guarantee and the best bet will be out there for your betting pleasure, of course. You've
The
got
Elite 8, upcoming segment.
the Elite 8 will be constantly monitored, I'm sure, avidly by the fans, and we'll get a bit of stick and a bit of feedback from that, I would have thought, along the way, which is what we love. We welcome that. We want we want to engage with that kind of stuff. I mean, me and Schnazi will do it in a dignified manner, and Slam will tell you you're wrong. So that's just what you're going to get there. Socials.
Facts are facts,
Facts are
Tipping
facts.
at 75% the last 2 weeks, Blaze.
Very good for you, my friend. Socials, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Slim Slam, and the Bandwagon Fan. You'll see all our good clips on there, always with our accompanying links to our YouTube and Spotify, Apple Music, everywhere you get your podcast. We are now available.
We're taking over the world there.
We are. We have really opened up the floor to anyone that wants to host us in a minute, and it's really, it's coming up trump. So we're pretty happy with how it's going. So yeah, follow, subscribe, do whatever you have to do there to
Tell your mum, tell your dad.
That's
tell your grandma.
right. Just keep sharing us, keep getting us out there, because we're really coming along leaps and bounds there. We're stoked. Twitter, SSBF Podcast, as always, will be a great way to connect with us. And as I like to do, and as Schnazi likes to push me into, Slammer, can you please sign us out for the evening?
He's been Slim, I've been Slam. That's the Bandwagon Fan. Good night.